for a true display of skill.
Exterminate. Exterminate.
Over here!
Welcome to your doom.
Let's have some real fun.
LCL at 12 o'clock. Bombs away.
What? Impossible.
Playtime's over.
I recall those days na nandun ako sa mga video karera tsaka PlayStation banks natin. Wow, childhood days, arcade skins, ladies and gentlemen, coming in sa patch 6.17.
Yeah, actually ngayon na.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is yun yung last patch natin bago mag-Worlds.
Yes.
Ayun na naman. Worlds na
Grabe.
naman.
Sobrang lapit na.
Worlds na naman tayo. And of course, everything is coming to an end. Nag-conclude na yung Pro Gaming Series natin. And dito, welcome back here at the Collegiate League 2016 Summer. We are now on the group stage, second to the last stage. Bago tayo magtapos, papunta sa ating playoffs. We're gonna be your shoutcaster, Shinbo with 1-4-9. And kasama ko po yan inyong analyst, Amplifier, ladies and gentlemen, to witness the match between these two teams na maglalaban ngayon sa ating first series. What do we have here?
Yes, actually, let's take a look at the schedule for
Sa
today.
schedule.
No?
Okay, let's
Pero
look into the schedule. So, for our first game, it's gonna be JBLU University, Maroon Dragons.
Yes.
Okay, kasama yung... Can I go back dun sa natin nating game? We
yung
have 6
Ardent-
games pala no hanggang 8 p.m. Ardent Warriors of
Yeah.
University of the East.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a good fight for this day. Sa mga viewers natin, be sure to share the stream link and our channel or our post na live ngayon sa Facebook para sama-sama tayo ngayon. Matunghayan, itong laban na to here at LCL 2016 Summer. Let's get into the drafting phase, ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to see and break down this match between Maroon Dragons versus Ardent Warriors.
Yes, so again, reminders guys, the patch 6.17
Yes.
na tayo ngayon. And there are a
Lots.
lot of changes,
Yeah.
especially to the meta. Gaya na sinabi ni Shin kanina,
Yeah.
no? It's
And
gonna be preparation for Worlds.
Lots of chromals.
Yes,
Ang daming
actually.
chroma. On sale ang chroma ngayon, IP2. You can buy chromas right now for 2,000 pesos. Pero be
Sa
sure to
mga-
have the skin.
Those who haven't seen the store in quite a while, balikan nyo na siya kasi ang daming nakalagay
Yeah,
na
you can
bagong
buy
skins.
basically, like a chroma is like a new skin, di ba? Parang ganun. So, you can check that out. You can buy like new skins now using IP. So, into this game.
Yes, so let's take a look at the bans. So Zillion, Talia LeBlanc, all mid lane bans pretty much for the side of John B. Lacson.
Wow.
And then we're going to be seeing from UE, they're going to be banning Karma, Morgan, and Twitch. So much respect for Bjerghen
yeah.
as a mid laner. Alam naman natin, no, as we discussed before,
Yes.
he's definitely one of the mid laners to look at for the LCL. He's
I
performed
don't know,
very consistently.
Baka
in
nga
the
siya yung
previous
best
games.
mid laner sa LCL.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
I mean,
I could say.
And reference to Bjergsen, no, one of the best mid laners
Yeah.
pretty much in the world, in arguably.
Yeah.
And Zillion, Talia, LeBlanc, all in a pretty good spot. LeBlanc, still a niche pick, but Talia and Zillion definitely, napakagandang mid laners sa mga yan for this patch. Pretty much untouched, for this patch 6.17, so they're still in a good spot. And then Karma, Morgana, Twitch, so looking like mostly support bans onto Demigod, although of course, they can flex to other roles as well, so they're still strong picks. Twitch, this is an interesting ban, probably targeted onto G's. He's not really in the best place. I mean, alam naman natin lahat, that most of the AD carries being used now are like Ashe, Jhin, Sivir, etc. So Twitch is more of a niche pick. But looking at the picks now, it's going to be Janna and Hecarim and Galio.
Yeah, I would like to go back on the jungle picks. We have Hecarim here, we have Graves there. big priority, hindi actually big priority, parang more leeway on picking up early junglers or picking your jungler champion early. Kasi parang sa dami-dami ng window ngayon na pwede mong i-ban, you have 6 bans here in these games. Kasama yung first pick, di ba? First 2 picks, you have like 9 window.
Yeah.
Walang lumabas na Gragas or Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
Those nerfs has
Both of them were nerfed, no?
survived.
Yeah, exactly. So for those who don't know the nerfs yet, Rek'Sai did get an increased cooldown
man.
onto his tunnel and his
Yeah.
ult.
Yeah.
So it's not really that painful actually. Rek'Sai's okay. It's Gragas yung pinaka-nasaktan
Yeah,
actually, I
the-
think, in this nerf. The fixed
Cooldown.
cast time
Yeah.
onto his R or his
And
ult, and then his E,
Yeah, that's
yung
the
body
biggest
slam
one.
also
Yeah,
got
that's 4
higher cooldown.
seconds, man, na
Yeah.
dagdag sa early game cooldown. And you don't even max that one.
Yeah, you know.
Hindi mo pinamax yung body slam na yun eh.
Yeah, so ang taas
So,
ng cooldown
ang tagal
niya, it really kinds of shuts down his early, or rather his mid-game ganking potential. Kasi he doesn't really gank pre-6, but once he does hit 6, you know, yung parang nangyari sa kanya is you must land your body slam to be able to land your ult.
Yeah,
Kasi
yeah.
otherwise, if you don't land it and then you throw it, sa tagal na cast time, it becomes so easy to dodge your
Yeah,
flash.
the main reason, the power of the combo ng body slam explosive cast combo is when you close the gap, mas maikli yung
yeah, exactly. Actually,
reaction
halos
time
instantaneous siya.
mula doon sa explosive cast. And yun lahat, in total, yun yung combo na nawala. Or napahina ng grabe for Gragas.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So we're not going to be seeing him in this game. There's going to be an immediate Graves lock-in for the side of UE. They take the Vladimir. Vladimir's heavily banned. Even in other regions. I think he's the most banned this last week. So obviously he's still in a good place. We're gonna be seeing Galio in this game, which is very interesting. I believe he was buffed in the previous patch. Tinaasan ata yung damage on his Q or his E. I can't remember. But he's alright. I guess we'll see how it's going to come in. He's going
Against
to
a
be
matchup
taking
with Vladimir. Yeah, that's
so
all
that's
good,
going to be
man.
mid lane. Galio, and then we're going to be seeing Tristana, and then the Maokai, which we don't really see as often in the top lane. We're mostly seeing champions like Echo, Gnar, Gangplank, etc.
Yeah.
But they are going to be using the Maokai probably to serve as frontline for this Tristana along with the Galio. And then Hecarim and Tristana will be the damage dealers now for the side of MD.
And sa early game matchup, I'm leaning more on the Maokai compared to the Irelia.
Yeah.
So baka yun, they pick this Maokai to keep the Irelia in check. Isa pang magandang mechanic ng Maokai is when you get the Hemoplague, you just cast the Vengeful Maelstrom, and yung amplified damage sa'yo gets mitigated by the added durability ng Vengeful Maelstrom.
That's true. Tapos we're gonna be seeing Caitlyn and Braum. So Caitlyn is going to be rising up on the list of AD carries kasi sa mga hindi ka nakabasa ng patch 6.17, Ashe and Sivir both got nerfed.
And even Jhin.
So, yeah, and Jhin as well. Well, with Jhin, it's more interesting. It's not as bad as what happened to Ashe and Sivir.
Yeah,
Kasi
actually.
with Ashe, there's one less second for you to have your Rangers focus on, which means it kind of kills your team fight damage over time.
Yeah.
And then the ult, actually yung ult is not, it doesn't really matter. the
Pinakamasakit
damage
kay Sivir, in my opinion.
For Sivir,
Yeah.
there is less passive attack bonus speed from your ult.
Yes.
Tapos yung AD ratio with her
Yung
Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
also
that's
slightly different.
one... I blame with the Sivir na ADC ako, especially when you're playing Bane who gets popped right now. But the thing is, about the Ricochet, ang weird ng Ricochet mechanic pala, when you are taking turret hits, when you are under your turret and you're taking Ricochet hits, walang turret aggro sa Sivir. And
Interesting.
that's why, parang, ang daya naman ng champion na to.
daya naman.
Aling, tinatamaan niya lang yung minion, tapos tatamaan ka pa niya. Tapos, I mean, yung mana mechanic natin kay Sivir, alam natin yan.
Yeah.
I mean, she can just spam your Ricochet if you go all in against him, against her, kasi yung mana niya, nakukuha niya dun sa spell shield.
Yeah.
Yun. And ang simple lang ng rule kay Sivir. You just use your spell shield on the CC. You just have to take note anong CC yung ilalad sa'yo, and boom, libreng mana.
Yeah, exactly. And nadami natin nakita beses na isang ult ginamit sa kanya tapos halimbawa yung explosive cast.
Yeah.
I remember I watched Jat's teamfight breakdown recently and I think the Gragas threw the explosive cast onto double lift pero na-spell shield lang niya and just like that he was able to deal so much damage during the team fight. So all the more with the nerf onto Gragas, it really hurts him to be able to engage, especially on these safe AD carries like Ezreal. And speaking of Ezreal, he was also buffed in this patch. He got a higher attack speed as you gain stacks from your passive.
Yes.
And it's really, really helpful. I remember we played Ezreal. I played him last night, and he definitely feels much better, especially during the mid-game. Once you get, for example, the Blade of the Ruined King, you really feel ang ganda talaga ng feeling ng buff actually onto his Rising Spell Force because you really get additional attack speed. So, looking at their compositions right now,
sa compositions.
so like I said earlier, si Hecarim and Tristana, mostly the damage dealers here. Galio will mitigate the damage coming in from Vladimir, at least up until early to mid-game.
Can even shield people on top of the Janna shield.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, there's a Janna to be able to disengage, to help the Tristana to deal damage during team fights. So, looking at their composition, it looks like a nice 5v5 and tower diving composition. Actually, kasi you have the Galio who can flash ult, Hecarim will follow up with his ult, and then the Tristana's there, of course, to burst anyone down. So it looks like a nice team fight.
And when things goes out, you have the additional, additional durability mula dun sa Mage for Maelstrom.
Yeah, exactly. Tapos for the side naman of UE, if I remember, they had the Graves, the Vladimir, and the Irelia.
Yeah.
So this team looks like it also wants to siege kasi meron kang Braum, Caitlyn, and Graves. So all of those are strong during the early game. Yung pwede lang gawin is to gain dominance over the bot lane. Kasi comparing Caitlyn and Tristana's power spikes, mas mabilis mag-spike si Caitlyn. So they can take advantage of that. Graves pushes waves fast as well. So Graves goes bot, Braum uses the shield, and then they just take that first blood on the turret while using that as a distraction for Vladimir and Irelia to scale. Kasi Vladimir and Irelia take really long to scale, so you have to distract the jungler pressure, make sure it's focused on bot lane. Hecarim actually doesn't even gank that much during the early game, so that's actually good news for Vladimir and Irelia, to be able to CS during the early game. But the longer the game goes, I think it may go in favor of UE's side kasi having Irelia and Vladimir in late game is really crazy.
Both has scalings in the late game.
Yeah.
Actually, it's very hard to understand kasi yung power na scaling nila in the late game medyo respectable. If you have the Tristana. Pero ang win kay Tristana is mas late game yung scaling. Like, Tristana needs around 2 to 3 items to really become the monster that she is. Whereas compared kila Vladimir and kay Irelia, actually 1 core item lang kailangan nila. And siguro isang magandang asset dito ng Maroon Dragons would be yung tankiness nila. Yung inherent tankiness nila. Pero will that be enough? You have to take note nga, yung Hemoplague doon will amplify the damage on your tank. So, you can be shredded through. Siguro ang kailangan din batay ng Maroon Dragons dito is yung early game. They don't fall behind during the early game kasi pagdating sa early game, I'm leaning more on the side dito ng University, Ardent Warriors. Pero they have to watch out because they lack the CC. They lack the CC. Yun yung malaking power din ngayon ng Maroon Dragons. Actually, they're kind of immobile, ganon. Pero good thing na lang, meron silang Galio, Righteous Gus, meron silang Hecarim, ganon. Just, compared to, marami kasing dashes. Itong Ardent Warriors. Yung Ardent Warriors, in the form of Withdraw, in the form of the Caitlyn Caliber Net. And actually, alam ko may bonus movement speed din ng Sanguine Pool
I think so,
ayan. So, we'll see about that. Kayo guys, ano yung breakdown nyo doon sa larong yon? This is University of the East versus John B. Lacson Maritime University. This is a clash. They hail from different conferences. I think John B. Lacson came from the Visayas Conference. Yes, kasama yung mga taga-Iloilo dyan. And of course, we have University of the East.
Metro West
Conference. Yes, you have to take note that here at LCL 2016, nagaling na tayo sa 48 teams.
48 teams. Napakaraming teams. And now, we've narrowed, I don't know, I forgot how we did it, but from 48 teams, we were able to narrow it down to 12. 12 of possibly the best teams here in our country, and we've been able to put them up together. This is going to be a best of 2. No, so back-to-back games tayo. We're going to be finding out whoever wins. Keep in mind this format, there are 4 groups, and there are 3 teams in every group, and they have to fight each other twice, and whoever has the highest wins or points kumbaga in every of those 4 groups, they become the final 4 to make it all the way to the playoffs. So this is really intense kasi imagine having to go through all of those 48 different teams just to make it to this stage. So much is on the line for this.
Ngayon ko lang na-realize, going back dun sa composition ulit ng John B. Lacson. Sabi ko kulang sila sa mobility. Although ang dami pa palang plus nila. They also have the Janna passive. They also have the Janna passive movement speed. Although it doesn't combine with the movement speed para sa Hecarim. It gives bonus damage kung malapit si Janna. Pero usually kasi Hecarim will be doing his stuff dun sa pinakadulo. Dun sa pinaka-backline kung sa backline. So baka hindi na siya abutan ng Janna passive. Pero it's very interesting. Ngayon ko lang na-realize na yung composition nila, they don't aim for a fixed composition. So nangyari pala dito sa banning phase natin o sa drafting phase natin, sinasabayan lang nila kung ano yung pick ng kabila, ano yung kailangan natin for this case. And that's why
actually they're playing very interesting picks kasi these champions they're using, hindi sila actually in the meta right now. They're really playing to their comfort. And yun, we had that discussion before na kung ano ba yung mas maganda, kung comfort pick or playing with the meta. You know, you need a good mix of both. Not necessarily to force yourself to play in the meta. Kasi yun nga naman, if you're in a team and you're not really comfortable with what's being played in the meta, you don't have to force it. Rather play with what you're comfortable with. I think a perfect example, again, you know, we have a lot of teams throughout history. For example, our own Philippine teams recently in the PGS finals na not necessarily meta yung ginagamit nila, pero because they're comfortable with those picks, you're still able to defeat teams that do use meta picks, but you know, you're just so comfortable with your own playstyle and you know your strengths and weaknesses to use it and dominate the game.
Oh yeah, of course. When you have like a high champion mastery, ibang-iba talaga. Ibang-iba talaga yung mechanic. That's why sometimes when we ask, sabi daw sa Riot, when they ask ano yung approach ng game, they still value mastery.
Yeah.
Like, to the point na the game is designed in such a way that you'll be doing crazy things when you master achieve certain champ.
Yeah,
Parang
exactly.
akala mo lang yun na yun, hanggang doon na yun. Pero iba pa rin talaga kung meron kang certain mastery ng certain champs. Like the idea of cancel animation, being efficient, you have the numbers, you know the background and the numbers within your champ.
Yes.
Yun yung mastery. And we'll see though dito sa ating laro. Actually, going back dun sa Hecarim peak, even though there's the Gragas nerf, which kind of offsets everyone pataas, di ba? Pataas. I'm not sure there are actually other options pa naman for the jungle. You could like go for the Elise.
Rek'Sai, Elise, Graves is there, Zac is there.
I'm not sure about Nidalee though.
Nidalee is actually still okay.
Good,
depending on the matchup, the jungle matchup, as well as yung lanes. Kasi she really snowballs if your team is not confident in the mechanical skills and pathing of your jungler. And better to avoid it.
Depende rin how you play it. I find kasi the Nidalee, they say, medyo in between yung Nidalee nerf at saka Nidalee buff. Yung nerf sa kanya is the removal of the attack resets. Tapos parang attack reset lang naman yun. Malaking kawalan ba yun? Actually, the frequency when you press your skills and R, it's kind of big.
Yeah, it's
losing
kind of
those
big. Kaya tinaasan
damage.
nila yung damage
Kahit tinaasan mo yung damage ng pounds, hindi yata nababawi. Ganon. And I think there's another buff pa sa kanya, pero I still believe
her Q damage ata tinaasan siya.
So I still believe na yung pounds, yung takedown, yan nga, which is the Q damage. And I still believe na mas masakit pa rin yung kawalan ng attack reset down. Pero guys, eto na yun! We are now live into the Summoner's Rift LoL Collegiate League 2016 Summer. Ladies and gentlemen, on the group stage, we're in the top 12 teams. Compete and fight against each other for the supremacy dito sa LCL. And for the first matchup for today's episode, we have Maroon Dragons of JBLU University taking on Ardent Warriors of University of the East. Let's get into the champion rundown.
All right, for the blue side, we're gonna be having John B. Lacson University. That's gonna be Jan in the top lane with Maokai, Roses in the jungle with Hecarim, Lucy in the mid lane with Galio, with Debonair Galio, and then we're going to be having Jeez and Demigod in the bot lane with Tristana and Jana.
I almost forgot may Debonair Galio palang skin. Yan lang
the forgotten mid laner.
Of course. Ang tagal kaya. Season 2 yata, Season 3, nagkaroon ng Galio.
Oo nga
I mean, parang competitive Galio. We'll see though. Has Galio showed presence sa ibang leagues?
No. Not really.
Pilipinas.
I think he was, the last time I remember seeing him in competitive, I think that was when EDG pulled out a Galio top lane in Season 4. So it's been a very long time.
Long time, man.
Season 4, Season 5, I can't remember.
Season 6, man.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, ladies and gentlemen. And ayan, we could see the matchup dito. Also, the junglers, I'm guessing because of the scaling nature ng lahat ng lanes dito. Actually. Vladimir, Galio, tapos Irelia, Maokai. I'm guessing all the actions might be, if not this bottom lane, baka dun sa top lane. Galio, Vladimir is kind of
boring.
Parang throw your skills. Wave management.
Yeah, that's really it, actually. Lalo na with the impact of the junglers. Kasi the awkward thing about having a Graves Vladimir mid lane gank is that there's no CC. So unless Galio overextends in his lane, the chances of you killing him are actually very low. So I think one of the most crucial points in this game will be the mid game. Kasi that's where either Caitlyn and Graves will be exploding, or on the other hand, it's going to be Hecarim, Galio, and Maokai exploding. So I think either of these teams, whoever can secure the mid game the fastest and gain the biggest gold lead, that's really going to determine who's gonna win. Kasi if on the side of John B. Lacson, if they win this mid game, let's say hypothetically they win, Hecarim is gonna get fed, Galio is gonna be tanky enough to pretty much shut down the damage from Vladimir.
Yes.
And then you can pretty much just push, bully Vladimir and Irelia. Kasi if you can take the mid game lead, you're gonna be giving Vladimir and Irelia such a hard time during the laning phase. You're gonna be taking objectives. You're gonna have control over Dragon.
Yeah.
That's really gonna shorten the game time, which I think MD wants to do, considering that there could be a potential for a very scary Vladimir and Irelia.
Yeah, and take note, the dragon na available sa mapa natin is an Ocean Drake.
Yeah.
Really nice Drake na
yeah,
could be considered as the second best Drake compared to the Infernal Drake.
Yeah.
But there's some contention na maganda rin naman yung Mountain Drake.
Yeah, of course.
Pero, you know, with the nerfs sa Torre, I'd go for the combat stats na. Kasi, you know, you just win team fight and take objectives, the classic style.
Yeah.
And you can see the harassment na nanggagaling mula kay Brigand. You cannot expect any combat presence mula muna dito sa ating Galio on Lucy MD, but that's kind of expected. Actually, ang mangyayari niyan, just farm up, reach the 1.1k gold mark.
Yeah.
Buy your Chalice of Harmony, and there you go. You have the safe lane.
Oh, you're pretty much set. Vladimir
Yun
won't be able to kill you.
Yeah. You just clear your wave with your QW combo, and that's it.
Yeah, kasi the biggest reason Galio is here pretty much is not necessarily to kill Vladimir, but to be able to prevent him, you know, from snowballing and then using your CC during team fights to zone him out.
Yes, of course. Especially take note ha, they are also faced with an Irelia. Ang daming on-hit champions dito.
Yeah.
Caitlyn, Graves, Irelia. Makuha mo lang actually ang Graves tsaka Irelia, malaking bagay na.
Yes,
on
exactly.
your own.
Very painful AD damage, so that's why there's so much emphasis on... Whoa!
Oh my god, there's a surprise pick here by Flappy! But of course, Jan knows that he's gonna be in range, so that's a 1-4-1 in top lane. First blood though, goes to our Death Warriors.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Syempre, maganda yun for Irelia, even though she died in the exchange, getting the first blood gold onto a Maokai this early on in the game. The fact that you're even slightly ahead in the laning phase is always in favor of Irelia against pretty much anyone except Gangplank.
Yeah, you want to snowball. That first blood will give you an extra boots.
Yeah. Actually, Maokai bought Cull.
Ayan,
That's
well,
pretty
Irelia
interesting.
now has the Shin.
Yeah.
So look at that. No, there's the call in the top lane. Even Irelia though.
I mean,
Just the call.
for Irelia, medyo understandable. But for Maokai, I don't think I'd buy the Cull.
Yeah.
Because...
I'd go for the Catalyst of Aeons as usual. Pero let's go on this one in top lane. Ghost gets proc all in onto Proppy. And that 1-1 in the top lane becomes 2-1 in favor of John.
Yeah, very good because they knew she didn't have the flash. Kasi kanina si Ariel, sinubukan niya mag-flash out of turret range. So without that flash, he was able to get the gank. There's going to be a nice kill onto Hecarim, which should be able to help him. Graves, though, nakaabang sa top lane.
Kill is given into Maokai to Jan. Pero that would be a nice setup nga rin na nagawa ni Hecarim. So, siguro yung Kal mitigated na after that kill.
Yeah, pretty much. I think,
sa Kal.
kasi the thing about buying Call on a top laner is that dinedelay mo yung possible stats that you could get with your first item. So, say for example, you grab anything like a Sunfire or Spirit Visage, you really delay yourself when you get this Call. Kasi the thing about Call and why it's purchased in lane is ideally you want to be able to use it to get a quick, faster second item spike. But that's not really the priority with the Maokai kasi you're not really looking for a second item spike. You just need to get that first item, you know, to be able to get tanky enough for the team fights. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll see its benefit later on.
Also a good amount of focus then being done here in the top lane. Roses goes back in the top lane. Maybe take a round 2 again. Papunta kay Flappy. But this time, Sisig is there. Sisig is there para tumapat for the counter-engage. Actually, ganda ng pwesto ni Sisig. Talagang sinadya. Counter-engage yung intention. Maybe not a counter-engage, but to just mitigate the gank na gawa ni Roses earlier dun sa top lane. Pero mukhang hindi yata iiwanan dito ni Roses. Ito top lane. All in. Twisted advance on top ng Revengeful Maelstrom. Devastating charge tayo. Papunta kay Flappy. Flappy's just going at it with a Transcendent Blaze. Nagkukulang ng damage si Roses. Bakit ni-nerf yung Hecarim back in the previous patch? Ang sakit. Yun yung na-nerf na damage.
Pretty much, yung Q niya. To remind those who don't know about the nerfs, Hecarim did receive a nerf, I think, 2 patches ago, which reduced his Q damage and increased, I think, its mana cost. So even lesser. That's why...
Tsaka damage sa Q. Yun yung na-nerf.
So,
devastating charge!
Okay,
Boom!
that was nice.
Yeah.
Pero that's the reason you don't really gank
Oh!
with a... Oh,
He died.
Okay.
Minion hit. Yeah.
sad. You should have just ran away.
Yeah. That's the
Napakasaklap.
one stray bullet mula sa range minion
Oo nga
killing you. Pero ayun, isa sa mga power ng isang Irelia is to winning the odds.
Yeah,
Ano to si Irelia eh, kung si Manji na nandito sasabihin niya Katniss to. Katniss Everdeen na yan. Because actually Riot said it when they I think put an update on Irelia. Yeah, the nerf
tenacity,
sa passive, yeah. Parang masyado daw yung odds in favor ni Irelia.
Yeah.
So the tenacity has been adjusted. Now, not based on the number of the enemy present, but based on how outnumbered
Compared to your
you are in the
teammates
team fight.
din. So may
Yeah.
teammate factor
Inakot
siya.
yung
For those who
teammate.
don't understand that change, basically, if there are more enemies than teammates,
Yeah.
the higher your tenacity is.
Yes,
So
yes.
increase yung quote-unquote outplay potential mo. Pero, let's say for example, it's a 3v3, there's basically pretty much the tenacity is not really
More
something
like,
to
it's
consider.
more of a nerf on the initiate ni Irelia. Hindi ka na pwede mag-early initiate kay Irelia.
Whoa!
It's just more of the follow-up. And you can see just like that, napakalinis na kagad mula kay Roses. The power of a ghost on top of the devastating charge. Actually, isa yun sa mga power ni Hecarim. The burst that the devastating charge can do.
And napaka-aggressive niya actually
Yeah.
for a Hecarim. Kasi when we look at the usual playstyle of Hecarims, they don't really gank pre-6 kasi it's not that successful unless you get behind the enemy champion. Pero we're seeing, he's really pushing Graves away. And that's weird considering that Graves is supposed to be ideally stronger than Hecarim during the early part of the game. Pero because of the ganks earlier in the top lane, it was able to get Hecarim an earlier items basically to reach that full jungle item. So he will be getting that Bami Cinder much earlier, which will help him with his DPS. Unlike the Graves, who has to wait until around the 2-item spike for him to be able to really kill people 1v1.
Yeah, JBLU is actually doing a good job
Yeah.
in this early game.
I was surprised actually nga na yung Hecarim napaka-aggressive niya. Pero now he's really trying to dominate this top lane area.
Araw-araw mga kaibigan. Ano grabe? Hindi ba nauumay yan? Ba't kayo nandito lagi? And that's gonna be a third hit onto Jan Tankis member ng Maroon Dragons dito. So it's gonna play so well. You could see the Idol of the Run. Oh! Face check. Jizz puts in the ultimate onto the Graves jungler. At kasama dito si Lucy. Here comes Moody for the chase. Puts in the passive mula sa block. Concussive blows. Jump to death. Sabi ni Jizz dito. Receives the third hit mula sa concussive blows. Demigod though will not be proc. Will not get the stun. And Moody will go out of safety mula sa teleport dito ni Jan. Makikita natin mula sa side. Mukhang traffic dito. Roses babanggain si Moody. Moody's just guiding in. But it's gonna be Lucy securing Moody. And now they're gonna go for Birken. Bakit ngayon ka lang? Birken,
Pero
sa tagal ng teamfight na yun, nauna doon si Lucy. And ganyan lang sumama si Birken.
That was a really messy team fight.
Yeah, man, very
Lalo na
messy.
si Jeez. For him to jump in, that was way too overconfident of him to jump in during that situation. Pero nevertheless, it's a slight gold lead in favor of MD. However, it's going to be their dragon. So there's going to be a nice Ocean Dragon, which will help, especially with this Tristana and Janna. They will be getting that sustain so that they can take down turrets.
Yes, definitely. So, medyo kaya bagal yung clear natin dito.
Oo nga
Mula kay Roses. Pero that's the thing about Roses. Naaalala ko tuloy yung Hecarim dito ni Hanian kay Roses. Yung biglang nagkakagulo, tapos may tumatakbo na lang na Hecarim. Parang, uma-outplay na ako. Nagsa-sidestep, or buwak na ako, tapos biglang may Hecarim on the side.
Yeah, pero on the side of Sisig, actually, that all began with him. Keep in mind, siya yung nag-invade without vision.
Doesn't look like the best option dito para kay Sisig. Walang malinis na follow-up. Even Berghian won't be there to join this fight. Oh, here comes Roses.
Oh, yan na naman.
Ayan na naman yung Roses.
Pero may onslaught siya eh.
This is so bad for Roses. Good thing, sabi mo nga, he has the onslaught, not for the initiate, but for the escape.
Yeah, because I think the reason Sisig is really trying desperately, you can tell na medyo desperado siya kasi for the side of John Bilakson, ramdam na ramdam yung pressure coming in from Hecarim.
Yeah.
So Graves is trying to match that. If he can't do it by ganking, he's trying to do it by invading the jungle and trying to steal the camps. The problem with that
That's
is...
how I do it then.
if it's not set up properly, then you're only going to push yourself even further behind. So they have to be able to put down vision. If not, then at least have your own support, there to back you up. Kasi yun yung nangyari kanina. There was no one to back him up, so he was picked off really easily. So they have to be more careful when it comes to invading.
Yeah, you have to understand how behind are you, di ba?
Yes.
Sabi mo nga, kailangan may proper setup bago ka mag-invade ng jungle. Kasi, kaya ka napapa-invade ng jungle kasi yung presence mo sa lane, medyo alanganin na. So, doon ka sa jungle ng kalaban. And you said you want ward. So, I think ito na yung klase ng play para kay Sisig na dapat he's kind of behind in such a way na dapat ward ang inaasikaso na. They're gonna go all in onto MD. Even MD, twisted advance onto Floppy won't be enough. And it seems like Floppy hindi ganun karamdam yung cap sa kanya in the top lane. Though that's a good, 13 minutes into the game, a good performance on an Irelia would put you on 11-minute Trinity Force.
Yeah. Oh,
So, nadelay naman yung Trinity Force, pero si Roses once again, without any ult, going in the top lane, do you have any idea about the blade surge ng Irelia and the burst mula kay Sisig?
Kasi keep in mind, this is 14 minutes in. You have the Sheen, Phage, and already the Skirmisher Saber with the Warriors and Chance. So that's already a lot of AD damage actually. And Hecarim doesn't even have a tank item yet. He only has the Cinders, which I actually would really consider to make you that tanky yet to fight both Irelia and Graves, no? So they have to be really careful with this setup. Kasi if you look at the top lane match gank, if Maokai and Hecarim both go top versus Irelia and Graves, they're outclassed in damage. Hecarim needs that Trinity Force to match the damage coming from both Graves and Irelia. So you can't expect too much. They have to be more careful. However, that's Trinity Force already for Irelia. So she's really strong right now, and they have to be careful. Respect her, especially when it comes to TP plays.
The average pick-up time ng Trinity Force around 13 to 15 minutes. So, pasok pa rin si Irelia dito. Again, guys, mula sa game na to, gusto ko pala ikunin yung time para sa inyo to invite you on the official community of the Pro Gaming Series. Isa yun sa mga leagues namin dito sa Garena Esports. Although it's done now for this year, babalik next year mga kaibigan. Yan, at what we have LCL right now. Pero ayan, PGS Rift Community. Please join us. Search that on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/PGS Rift. Sali na kayo. Kasama nyo dyan yung mga shoutcasters, GMs, tsaka mga pro players natin. Yun yung mga kalaro nyo. But most of all, ang kasama nyo dyan ay syempre yung mga summoners, yung malulupit. Mga summoners na malulupit.
So, kung nag-aanap kayo ng mga kasama sa Dynamic Queue, looking for clans, etc. Perfect place.
Walang problema. Kung naghahanap kayo ng kayaya doon, i-post nyo yung mga in-game screens nyo, yung mga lobby nyo, yung waiting room nyo, and invite players in. Lalo pa kailangan nating magtulungan para makapuntang Diamonds. Nababalikan ng solo queue, mga kaibigan. Lalo pa naka-dynamic queue tayo ngayon dito. Pero here comes the initiate. Medyo alanganin, medyo pilit. Roses receiving the third. No, make that the fourth blow. Mula doon sa concussive blow. Pero ayun, howling blow. Hindi nag-connect dito sa bottom duo ng Ardent Warriors. Here comes the double teleport. Equilibrium strike onto Flappy. And you could see Demigod getting bursted though. Janna will fall back. In the chase pa rin sila G, sila Roses dito. Kasama si Lucy. That's a two-man. Guys, all of the land, ladies and gentlemen, but Birken is here, collapsing onto 4 members. Can he turn this around? He's gonna go for Demigod with a 1 for an eye, and you can see Jeez is just carrying him, and it's gonna be Birken kissing the ground mula kay Jeez. Killing spree dito si Sisig as he managed to burst Demigod, ladies and gentlemen, but that is a 2-4-4 exchange in favor of John B. Lacson.
That was a nice ult. Coming in from Lucy. Again, yun talaga yung role niya dito, is to be able to hold the rest of the enemy team, allowing Tristana to put down the stacks on her bomb, to get that damage and delete anyone. She was able to get, I think, a kill onto both carries, si Irelia and Caitlyn. So, clearly, you can see now the role of every member on the side of MD. It's already starting to show. Hecarim and Tristana are there for the damage. Maokai and Galio provide the CC. And then Janna's there to disengage, push Irelia away.
We have the replay here. You can see kung gaano kakulang din sa CC kasi yung Ardent Warriors.
Exactly. So looking there, Janna, she just uses the Monsoon to buy up more time for Jeez. He's able to put down the damage, jumps away from the Vlad, but she was already able to put down the stacks. So it really immediately takes out the Irelia. And then the return jump in to get the kill onto Moody. So again, the CC all serving Tristana be able to put down the damage throughout the fight.
Just for the free hits. And napapansin natin, but parang laging late si Big Hen. Ano yung problema doon? The thing about this is the composition ng sa Ardent Warriors. Yung Hemoplague ni Birgen dito, and actually yung kit niya as a Vladimir, is kind of a follow-up damage. Hindi mo kang initiate. Kasi kapag nag-initiate yan si Birgen, malalockdown yan ng CC. Kulang sa burst. Itong composition ng
Kulang na
JBLU
kulang,
University.
Kasi Spirit Visage pa lang din si Vladimir. He
Oo.
hasn't really reached his damage items yet. So,
Yeah.
up until he gets probably a Proto Belt, he's not gonna be doing a lot of burst damage in
Oo.
this game. And gaya na sabi mo kanina, kulang ng CC
Yeah.
yung Ardent to be able to allow Vladimir and Caitlyn. So, they have to rely on sort of counter-engage probably if aside from picking off, because you can't pick off with the Braum. If not, then try not to force any fights. And actually, you can see, they're not really forcing
Yeah.
anything. Pero at this point in time, kasi 18 minutes, it's still quite early for the Vladimir to be able to do team fights efficiently.
Yeah, I'd say divide and conquer. I'd say divide and conquer
Yeah.
ang gawing strategy dito. Don't take head-on team fights, especially with a team na may wombo
Exactly.
combo.
Exactly.
Especially with yung backline damage na hindi nyo nagagalaw yung backline. Sinasabi ko nga, kailangan natin ng taga-setup para kay Birghen, para dun sa Hemoplague niya. Kasi follow-up damage siya, hindi siya yung taga-setup. Ang taga-setup dito ay si Kingslayer.
Yeah.
Yung kanyang Glacial Fissure.
Yeah.
But the thing here is that madalas yung Glacial Fissure nagagamit kapag may aggression na nailalagay kay Moody at yun yung problema. Nawawala tuloy yung initial setup. It seems tuloy na laging late dito si Moody. Pero lagi, the initiative always comes from John B. Lacson University. They're gonna go at it. Will the... Twisted advance connect! No, it won't! Medyo pilit Roses pero managed to shut down the bounty away from Sisig, ladies and gentlemen. So 1-for-1! No, it's gonna be a 2-for-1. Just like that.
Well, that clearly was not worth it.
Worst place to recall. Not
Yeah.
worth it now.
Yeah, really not worth it.
Kung 1-for-1 sana, worth it kung may bounty. Pero kung 2-for-1 na.
Yeah, gaya sinabi mo, no, pilit.
Pilit.
Medyo pilit talaga yung gank na yun. It didn't seem like the right thing to do. Pero looking again at the team fight earlier, exactly what you said, the best thing for Ardent to do right now, at least 20 minutes in, try to remain in the laning phase and not contest during 5v5s.
Yeah.
And then go for the 1-3-1.
Yeah.
Kasi looking at their composition, Irelia and Vladimir can solo push once they get their core items.
Yeah.
And then Braum, Caitlyn, Graves, nice disengage, with the Braum there, with the Glacial Fissure, you can easily siege towers because of the AD damage
Yeah.
and the auto attack.
Then just have Graves ward up the jungle para hindi ganun-ganun nakakapasok si Roses.
Yeah.
Para mag-flank sa likod.
That's true.
Which is very likely kasi ipipick up ni Roses dito would be an Irelia or I'd say Irelia and the bottom duo.
Yeah.
I don't think about Roses focusing Birghen. Kasi even though if isolated si Birghen sa lane niya, yes, pwedeng sabihin natin na ang isang Vladimir kind of tanky with this kind of itemization. Naka-visage, tapos merong Rylai. Pero hindi pa yan eh. Hindi lang yung health ang dapat mong tingnan dyan eh.
Yeah.
Yung sustain.
Yeah.
Mas mahaba pa yung life bar niyan talaga effectively.
Tsaka looking at
Compared
the
sa
damage
nakikita mo.
dealt for every champion on UE, yung Irelia tsaka yung Irelia, Graves and Caitlyn talaga yung kailangan tignan muna before the
yes.
Vladimir. The Vladimir can be focused later on. Pero yun nga yung maganda sa side ng UE. They have a lot of damage potential. It's just they haven't gotten to that point yet. So they have to prolong the game. Don't feed this Tristana kasi once this Tristana goes online with damage, she's really going to make it a bad day for UE.
But this is the problem. Yung supposed na phase kung saan pwede ka mag-setup ng 1-3-1 na wala na kasi magsi-0-5-0 dito.
Yes,
Ang
exactly.
Maroon Dragons gonna force something out of Ardent Warriors that may siege din sila pala. Ngayon ko lang na-realize. May siege pala dito
Exactly,
yung Maroon Dragons. They are able to dish damage on the turret with the help of this Tristana.
And it's very scary kasi if you decide to contest the turret that MD is taking, they're gonna dive you.
Yeah.
They're gonna put down that Kali ult. Hecarim's gonna use his
Hecarim is
ult.
gonna dive.
Maokai's gonna jump
Yeah.
inside. So it's really risky to try and contest when it comes to a 5v5 fight.
So it's
UE really have to split up. Vlad and Irelia need to take solo lanes
the big puzzle
and try
also,
to
no?
CS.
Is how to put na Irelia din in the backline.
Yeah. Mahirap pa.
Yeah.
She still needs to get her tanky items after the Trinity Force for her to reach that backline on Tristana.
Irelia can burst na the Tristana. But that, I mean, hindi burst to kill, kundi, I mean, good chunk of damage.
Yeah.
Pero, kung kulang, kung hindi mo siya mapapatay nga doon sa initiate mo at walang pa-follow up sa'yo, kulang yung tankiness dito ni Irelia.
Kulang na
Pero
kulang
let's
talaga.
see, she now completed the
Rando wins.
Rand wins.
Yeah.
I don't think it's still enough though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll still need help,
I think
especially from the Braum.
I'm guessing a Dead Man's Blade, maybe. Additional armor, or if you want to really go at it. Kasi hindi naman talaga ganun kagrabe yung sa damage na nagagaling mula sa top lane and mid lane. Mag-Thornmail ka na. Tapos just go ham with the Tristana. Pero Maybe... Black Cleaver. I'm guessing a Black
Pwede rin.
Cleaver.
Yeah,
Pwede Black Cleaver.
because there are a lot of tanks on the side of JBL, so she
Oo.
can get that after the round of its own. There, actually, Aurelia has a ton of options
Yeah.
that she can go for, and there isn't exactly a wrong one. Just the most efficient one. Dragon coming up though.
Yeah.
In 50 seconds, it's gonna be Cloud.
And there you go. We have the 1-3-1 now.
There, yeah.
Yeah. Pero there's
Pero,
a recoil pa rin because no vision para sa side ng Ardent Warriors dun sa bandang top side.
Although the 1-3-1 that I was thinking of is not like this. Kasi si Graves is not the one who should be in the solo lane. It should be Vlad or Irelia.
Yeah.
But actually, Graves just went there to push the top lane to freeze it.
Yes.
And then he'll be going mid. Because Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds. Keep in mind, if UE get this Dragon, it's going to be 50 bonus movement speed. That will really help.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it comes to split pushing
Especially kung may
movement speed.
Jana ka.
Yeah. So this will be really important for UE to be able to allow Irelia and Vladimir to get to lanes faster so they can split push using that 1-3-1.
You have to take note sa natin dito sa larong to. It seems like merong edge ang Maroon Dragons. Pero you could see that the gold lead is leaning in favor steadily in Ardent Warriors side.
Yeah.
So
that was a misplay from Rosas. He actually allowed himself to get chunked so heavily that he can't even contest this Dragon. So that was a pretty bad decision making.
Flappy goes in. There's the teleport coming in mula sa Maokai. Are they sure to take this team fight? Yes, they might be because Caitlyn is not in range though. Na-cancel. Hindi. Kinancel niya yung teleport niya. He's gonna go for the top lane. 4 members now are rotating maybe in the top lane. Briggs is gonna go for the mid lane. But you can see that somebody's gonna go in the top lane and that will be Sisig. So, ang nagwa 1-3-1 ngayon ay yung Maroon Dragons.
Yes.
Divide and conquer. Gumagana yung strategy ng Ardent Warriors.
Yun na nga. Pero para sa kanila, you can see that MD really clearly did not set up properly for the Dragon.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you can tell na they were caught off guard.
Yeah.
If you were not going to take the Dragon, you wouldn't have moved the way you did earlier. Maybe they could have just taken top lane instead. Pero clearly, they were planning to take Dragon. It's just sobrang late na movement nila. Hecarim gets chunked so low, like 20% health, and then they give away the Dragon for free. So, pretty bad rotation coming in from JBL.
And Hecarim has no defensive stats
Yeah.
para sa Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
is only the Cinderhawk enchantment on top of the Trinity Force. So the Trinity Force is like a big core item para kay Hecarim. So it puts a lot of leeway to just build tank. And good thing, nakuha niya yung Scuttler Key dito. Pero still, the damage from Sisig it should be respected. Lalo pa sa isang Hecarim na walang ka-armor. And ayun in danger. I'm guessing baka ang build nito ni Hecarim is the one with the yung nasa defensive stats, yung nasa defensive mastery tree, yung nag-stack ka ng health.
So that's Strength of the Age.
Strength of Ages yata.
Yeah,
Strength
not
of
sure.
Ages. Tapos pinapares mo sa double-edged sword. Diba? Usually. Yung double-edged sword, maganda lang yon kapag nakikipag-trade ka.
Yeah.
Pero kapag ikaw lang binabanatan, bonus damage yon.
Mahirap talaga. Pero looking at the gold lead right now, there's a slight gold lead for UE. Actually, that's pretty bad for JBL kasi allowing Ardent Warriors to get a gold lead with a scaling composition, that's really bad news for JBL. They have to make a play quickly. The problem is you can tell that JBL, I don't think they know what to do with their composition come mid-game. Mukhang nalilito sila because they're not exactly setting up for objectives.
Oh, that's a fail blast from Kingslayer. Yan, paalam na yan, sabi ng mga teammates niya.
Bye-bye.
We know. Yeah.
So this is probably going to be a mid lane now, which they have been trying to get.
Yeah, because that's the Glacial Fissure gun. They can dive. They can dive that mid lane. All you need to do is just bring the Tristana here. The siege is complete, ladies and gentlemen. Kasama pa dito yung Gigorot natin sa mid lane. It's a matter of waiting out for the minion to arrive in the lane. Ang tagal ng minion.
Yes.
Tagal ng minion,
Go,
pero
go,
enough
go.
to delay. 10 seconds bago
Irelia's
lumabas
pushing
itong
top.
ating Brom. Roses activated his devastating charge, but still a lot of hits coming in. And here comes the initiate mula kay Jan MD. Teleport coming in from Irelia on the side. Who will he tag though? Tumalo na rin si Janjan, si Flappy. Janjan dito, ladies and gentlemen. Janjan going so low. Flappy cannot chase down, get zoned out mula sa Monsoon. Plus the Howling Gale, ladies and gentlemen. They still fail though. Jan B. Lacson is to take this outer mid lane turret.
Yeah, that was a very, very inefficient way of diving. Nakita natin yung, actually, the ult of Galio only got one person, I think.
Yeah.
The best way for that dive, oh wait,
the best way for that dive is actually for Roses to go directly mula sa likod.
Yeah.
Sandwich them. Roses initiated in the front line gamit yung Onslaught of Shadows. But the big problem here is gonna get bursted in this mid lane. The big problem during that team fight was yung devastating charge niya. Ang aga niya kinas.
Yes.
The moment na nag-Onslaught of Shadow siya, wala siyang na-devastating charge.
Exactly. Sobrang inefficient talaga nung dive na yun. If anything, like you said, dapat sa backline ang gagaling yung mga tanks natin to be able to target the squishy people. Caitlyn was alive.
Walang
that
problema
entire
pumunta
time.
sa backline. Walang problema pumunta sa backline kasi walang Brom eh.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a 5v4, so
Yeah.
all the more you can tell that the execution was a failure on the side of JBL.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, Janjan actually had his TP, so they could have actually set a ward behind the mid lane turret, had Maokai TP, and then root someone, and then Galio comes in with Hecarim to cast their ults. Pero hopefully MD is able to execute their next dive well because time is running out for them. There's a 2,000 gold lead for Ardent Warriors, and that's already almost a 3-item spike for Irelia, and Vladimir's going to be getting his, I think, oh, he already actually has 3 full items at this point, so he has to be respected at this point. Caitlyn already has a Runance IE and Phantom Dancer, so if any single target person tries to 1v1 this Irelia, you know, you have the dual potential already, so they have to be careful. Next Dragon is again an Ocean Drake, so we'll see if they decide to prioritize this over Baron, pero honestly, UE can already take this Baron.
Yeah, we can see naman din na Hecarim is now building tank here. Pero is building Frozen Heart. I'm still leaning more on the Deadman's Plate instead of the Frozen Heart. Like, Deadman's Plate is a tank item plus gives you a really good boost of movement speed. You really want that kind of initiate kasi malaking part nung team fight dito ng Maroon Dragons falls heavily onto Hecarim.
Yeah,
So
you can see though that they're clearly respecting si Caitlyn tsaka si Irelia with the
Yeah.
Frozen Heart kasi now they feel threatened na we really need to
Yeah,
mitigate
and
the
this
damage
is
from
very
them as much
awkward
as we
now
can.
para sa side ng JBL. Though they're gonna go all in onto Flappy. Now it's gonna be an equilibrium strike onto Roses. And here comes the rest of the teammates. Will they manage to corner Roses, ladies and gentlemen? May Onslaught of Shadow pa rin. Pero on the side, nandun si Sisig. Here comes Tristana though. So napapwara sa si Sisig dito. Quick draw away. Pero Birkin in the back line managed to flank away. The tanks are focusing Moody now. This time, ADC is gone. This is kiting up. Pero na Blade Surge siya ni Irelia. And only Flappy and Birkin will get collapsed on the 3 members dito ng Maroon Dragons. At ito kami, tanker kami, sustain ka lang. Mukhang forever tayong magbubugbugan dito. Kulang sa damage. No, we have the mid laner, Lucy here. So, you know, this is just a matter of time. Look at that sustain. What the hell is that sustain?
Tan, 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 tan. Okay. Haba nun ah.
At yung sustain ha, ganun pala yung sustain nun, 600.
Oo nga, grabe. Let's take a look at the replay of this really messy fight. Graves dashing in. That was weird. That was really weird. Pero it initially was a good job from Birkin because he's able to zone out si Tristana.
Yes.
Pero we can see the members of UE are so separated.
Yeah.
And Caitlyn is able, they're able to single out the Caitlyn and Braum was not protecting her. Braum was moving forward. But that's not his job. Braum is supposed to be at the back line,
just with
protecting the Caitlyn.
Yeah, man.
As in, sobrang messy talaga. And Tristana actually, really nice jump kasi she's able to jump away from Vladimir and then able to escape him through the wall to be able to deal damage to the rest of UE. So UE, they have to keep in mind their positioning is very important during team fights, especially for the Graves and the Braum. Graves dashed in initially, and then he gets chunked out and deleted easily.
And looking at this kind of itemization, I'm thinking na isang malaking problema para sa Ardent Warriors, hindi yata si Tristana, mukhang si Lucy.
Yeah.
Tanky plus, you know,
Damage.
heavy damage. Ano pang hihingin mo? Yan yung ideal scenario, di ba?
And actually, looking at Graves' items, I actually don't like his build kasi he went for a very early
And what is this? Sisig, pre! Your damage gets returned to you! Nahanginan ka pa! It's gonna be Janjan daw! Janjan! Going to focus or going to take the kill against Sisig now. They're on to Birgen, but this is going to be a 4v5 scenario, ladies and gentlemen. Now that Maroon Dragons has the advantage, Roses though, he gets punished, and that's the big problem when you don't put the Deadman's Plate and when you pick the Frozen Heart. Bawas yung kill potential mo, and here comes the turnaround. Mukhang hindi nga na-collapse dito si Birgen. Sobrang daming kill, sobrang daming sustain, at sobrang dami ang namatay para sa Maroon Dragons dito. 3 in exchange for 1. You have to take note that John B. Lacson has to understand they lack the damage.
Yes, and
They
keep
don't
in mind that
understand
yung gusto ng JBL, okay, so they don't like 5v5s. But if the fight takes very long,
Yeah.
that goes in favor of Ardent Warriors. Kasi Irelia and Vladimir and Caitlyn, they love prolonged fights. They're gonna poke you and use their sustain and their rage and their tenacity to defeat you in long-term fights. So unless you burst these carries down quickly, you can't kill UE. So they
Yeah.
have to be careful though. This Baron is a really risky call.
Yeah, man. Pero still, even if this Baron gets beat, oh, here comes the forward, man! Idol of the Dragons after the Baron! The Baron will go into the hands of Ardent Warriors, and Maroon Dragons gets deleted though, but that is a big setup. Taking the kill onto Kingslayer. Yun, sana kung meron lang follow-up noon, malaking bagay yun sa Maroon Dragons.
It was a desperate move.
Yeah, desperate move.
Halatang walang mangyayari doon actually. Galio, Lucy was able to get a really nice setup onto several members, but for nothing actually.
Yeah, man, and here comes Sisig to join the party. Direct na burst. The Jana, now a 2-4-2 as here comes the Hecarim taking on the members dito mula sa Ardent Warriors on third turret. Comes Bergen, ladies and gentlemen, and Sisig is still, no, he's not alive. And this is gonna be Jan. And ladies and gentlemen, the one we expected to dominate this game once again, Bergen. Wala akong napapansin na kayang pumatol kay Bergen even during team fights.
Yep. Okay, so I think we have to break that down slowly.
Yeah.
So, first of all, maganda naman yung call ng UE
Yes.
to take the Baron because
Yes.
so many of the members were far.
Yes,
I didn't
of course.
notice that initially, pero napakalayo actually ng MD during that fight. I think Lucy shouldn't have done what he did to flash ult and then have nothing happen. He actually could have saved that for a potential ace during the time of UE because
Give
UE,
the Baron, just give the Baron muna.
yeah, UE made a very, very bad decision to rush mid after taking that Baron because after the Baron, they all rushed mid and then 4 people died. So all of the 4 members lost their Baron just after taking it, and now it's only Bjergen who has the Baron buff left. So
Yun nga.
both of them, no, they made pretty bad decisions there, but the biggest fail there was from UE because they shouldn't have gone for mid. They should have just taken the Baron, recalled, and then set up for another objective after.
Kahit sabihin natin na he's sitting on 328 KDA, I'd say na napakalinis ng paglalaro dito ni Bergen.
Yeah.
Just how a Vladimir should be played. Pero I'm leaning now, ang malaking problema rin kasi sa Maroon Dragons na sinusolusyonan na ngayon ni Lucy, yung kawalan nila ng damage. He's actually building this could go into, I'm recommending Ludens Echo. Pero look at that, there's a jump mula kay GZMD. Gets the heal now mula sa sarili niya rin. And the shield mula kay Demigod. And 4 members collapsing onto Birghead. Will Birghead manage to buy the time on top of the Zonia's Argless plus the sustain? No, you won't. GC is just there to take the hits. And the mid laner is gone para sa side dito ng Ardent Warriors.
What?
Oh, nag-fail! Nagamit yung Idol of Durand! Oh, noes! Oh, noes! Tingnan natin kung anong magagawa dito. Only 2 minions to go for the push in the bottom lane turret. And I think that's the call to fall back. Sayang.
Okay, that was really awkward. Pero
Yeah.
this Dragon's gonna be coming up. It's the Elder Drake. It's actually going to be really worth it for MD.
Yeah.
Kasi if you get that nice multiplier onto your Ocean Drake, you're going to be sustaining like forever.
Yes,
So,
man.
and that will be very useful, especially since napakaganda ng prolonged team fights for UE. So you can try to match that if you get the LD Dragon multiplier for your Ocean Drake. You'll be able to sustain us about somewhat similarly to how much UE can sustain. And
It's
the
like-
team fights will be better.
Yung 3 Ocean Drake, it's like a bonus item.
Yeah.
It's like a bonus item na. I know it's an off-combat regeneration. Pero it's as good as a bonus item or like another passive skill.
Yeah.
Ganon. Kahit
Lalo na for
off-combat pa.
sieging, it's
Yeah.
really nice for taking those sieges. So UE now, they do have the gold lead still. After looking like they've been losing the whole game, for you guys to know, they've actually been winning because they've been matching well during team fights. Kasi the thing about scaling composition is, as long as you're even with the enemy team, you're winning.
Yes.
MD have not gotten the gold lead at all
Yeah.
during this entire game, and that's always a failure for them because they need to be the one getting the ball rolling. So 37 minutes in, things are so even, and it's only about time until UE can start using that 1-3-1 and overwhelming JBL with wave management.
Yes, man. This game is 37 minutes na. Game 1 pa lang
That's what
to.
you get when you lock in Vlad and
Yeah,
Irelia.
Elder Drake, I cannot imagine yung skill level na nakikita natin ngayon sa laro to, napakaganda at napakalinis talaga. Ramdam natin yung pagka-filter ng 48 teams.
Yes.
And this is the result, ladies and gentlemen. Mas lalo tuloy ako na-excite ano yung kakahinatnan kapag natapos tayo dito sa group stage when we are down to the last 4 teams ng ating LCL onto the semifinals. Though, Elder Drake, tama ba to? Initiate dito ng JBLU.
Yeah, they have to be careful. Actually, sobrang tagal and sobrang liit ng damage nila over time onto this dragon.
Mayroon ako impression na mas mahirap kunin ng Elder Drake.
Yeah.
Mas malaki ang damage ng ng Baron, pero nakukunatan ako sa Elder Drake.
Sobra.
Oo, nakukunatan ako sa Elder Drake. Look at that, nag-reset pa.
Oh my
Ang weirdo pa ng reset at AI ng Elder Drake.
Pero this
Pero
is
here we go.
dangerous right now.
Yeah, hindi nila to basta-basta ipamimigay. Makikita mo na si John John. John is trying to close the gap in. Flashes in to the backline. All in on to Moody. Will they burst Moody? Flashes in at isa lamang na uli dito si Kingslayer. Flap in the backline at buhay pa rin si Moody, ladies and gentlemen. Ardent Warriors, they're gonna gain the footing para sa larong to. They have the ADC up.
CC.
Pero kasama rin si Jace dito. Oh my Jace! Ladies and gentlemen, is gonna go for Brigand. Brigand flashes in, gets the burst onto Jace. Now onto the last 2 members ng Maroon Dragons. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 members will collapse. Will Kingslayer go down? MD tries to poke away, tries to get the last hit. So close yet so far. And that's gonna be a triple kill. An ace para sa University of the East Ardent Warriors.
Bjergen.
Bjergen.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Bjergen, man.
Bjergen.
Bjergen. Bjergen.
40 minutes in, 3,000 gold lead. If we can take a look at the replay of that team fight,
Yeah.
you'd see Bjergen. Yeah, let's take a look at the
That
the
flash
replay.
on Tristana.
Bjergen is able to zone 2 people throughout the entire fight. Tristana was left alone to try and kill him, and then he disengages at just the right time to prolong the entire team fight. Tristana here is being zoned out the entire time by both Irelia and Vladimir. They did such a great job of keeping the main source of damage away from that the entire team fight. And then that gives enough time for Moody and Bjergen to delete the rest and then clean up after. So
Actually,
great job from Bjergen there.
Kung itong choke point dito, nalagyan lang ng ultimate ni Galio, masyadong maaga yung paggamit ng ultimate ni Galio, which is, you know, expected ng kalaban yun. Expected ng kalaban yun, yung Idol of Durant mo after they initiate mula doon kay Hecarim. So why not just get in? Tank ka naman.
Yeah.
I mean, mid lane ka, pero you're very tanky. Enough to, you know, just during the chaos, go near, just
Zone.
save, just zone. Then when you feel like you're sure to hit 3 members, when all the gap close are gone, when all the dashes are gone mula sa side ng Ardent Warriors, press R.
Because the most effective way for Galio to use his ult for his team is to lock down a carry with Tristana by your side.
Yeah.
Yung problema kasi is, kanina, na-zone out si Tristana,
Yes.
pero nag-ult pa rin si Galio. So no follow-up in terms of damage.
No follow-up. That's the big problem. Maganda yung ultimate ni ni Roses.
Yeah.
I like the ultimate ni Roses. Just enough. And it's kind of, they have to understand that you don't want, with this kind of tankiness na meron at scaling, yung Ardent Warriors, don't expect to burst anyone with a wombo combo. Hindi to wombo combo for burst. Wombo combo to for CC. Your main damage comes in mula sa Tristana. Nanggagaling sa Tristana. So, not on the Galio, not on Roses, not even on John, ladies and gentlemen. Lalo pa sa Jana, ha? Iihipan niya lang yung kalaban, ladies and gentlemen. So, you know, save muna. Hawakan mo muna yung Idol of Durant mo. Just be a consistent threat. Just put your eyes on Tristana. Play around the Tristana.
Yep, exactly. So now, we're going to be seeing a Baron dance. And actually, all the waves are pushed evenly. So it's all about this mid lane. And actually, UE can start threatening at this point already. You have the TP on the Irelia. So you can go 1-3-1. Put Vladimir bot, put Irelia top. And then, when they start baiting for the Baron, just surround them or push all the way until inhib if they make the wrong mistake. Kasi we can see that JBL, they kind of crack under pressure and make their own decisions. So, if you pressure them with a 1-3-1 and they can't respond, you might be able to force them to make a desperate play and then get the picks after.
Siguro din sa team fight na yun.
Yeah.
Naalala ko. Kung siguro naka-Deadman's Plate si Roses, napatay siguro si Moody. I know hindi enough yung burst ng Deadman's Plate kasama ng Devastating Charge. Hindi pa siguro enough para kay Moody. Pero malaking bagay doon yung slow ng Deadman's Plate.
Yeah. And
So,
I think,
I'm not leaning on the pros and
my-
and this is gonna be bad for Demigod, but still he has the moonshot. Pero Bergen not hesitating to go into the backline, gets the burst now onto Demigod. Nasa backline na rin dito. Si Jan kasama si Lucy, pero look at Moody. He got the free hits. Wala na si Jace dito. And that's another ace. This time an easier one without any casualty from Ardent Warriors with the Baron as the gift for their school. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be the game.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. UE, they've taken the game at this point. Nakita natin actually in that fight, Vladimir and Irelia, they don't waste time. They know what to do. Kill Tristana,
Yeah.
and you win the fight. And that's exactly what happened. Tristana disappeared in the matter of like 4 seconds of that team fight.
So, we can say na ang nag-punish dito sa Maroon Dragons, you know, in layman's term, on easier things to understand, kakulangan ng damage.
Yeah.
The distribution of damage. I'd say maganda yung damage ng Galio, pero kind of conditional. When you cast the Q at hindi tumama sa mga crucial members, that's it. That's basically the game gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GG, well played,
Wow.
especially from UE, no? Prolonging that fight so well. Not cracking under pressure in the lane, even with the early kills coming from the bot lane here na JBL. You know, JBL, they knew how to get the lead.
Yeah,
but
they knew how to get
they
the
got
lead.
lost.
Yun yung gusto ko rin sabihin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
JBL were able to get a nice lead, especially with their bot lane. They were able to play it well. Hecarim was able to camp top,
Yeah.
you know, and get a pretty nice lead. The problem was, which is a symptom I think of a lot of new teams, is how to use that lead, you know, to secure objectives and then to eventually end the game. JBL knew what yung UE, they knew what they had to do. Sige, take a couple of kills, get a couple of dragons, we don't care. We're going to scale into late game and destroy your Tristana in the backline. And that's exactly what happened in the last team fight at Baron.
Bergen na naman. Ang
Yeah.
galing talaga.
Really good
Bergen,
job.
really good performance coming in mula sa Vladimir dito. Like the delay and the hustle na nakapag-drag down ng game na to. To, you know, just open up. When
Wow.
things went down, when things are down para sa Ardent Warriors, there was Bergen, you know, na parang, no, I'm gonna put the pressure on against the enemy team. We can still do this. Let's wait for the opportunity when things are going south for us during
Yeah,
the
and he did the most damage.
yeah,
throughout
during
that
the early game. Pinaka-nag-shine si Bergen nung mid-game.
Yeah.
Nung mid-game. Kasi parang ano nang gagawin? Dahil kay Bergen parang hindi alam ang nangyari sa Maroon Dragons. Parang nawawalan sila ng options. Malaking problema si Bergen. Malaking problema itong Vladimir. What can we do during team fights? Why can't we get a clear win?
Yeah.
And yun nga ang dahilan. Bergen is there for the sole reason of not giving a clear win against Maroon Dragons.
Yeah, so really well played for them. I think
Yeah.
Hecarim should have probably focused on getting more damage items
Yeah.
and just letting Galio and then Maokai doing the tanking. But congratulations to the Ardent
Yes,
Warriors.
but hindi pa tapos yun ah.
That's best of 2.
This is, yes, you know, this is a 2-game series between Ardent Warriors versus Maroon Dragons, ladies and gentlemen. Group stage to. The group stage is played out from the 12 teams divided
Yes.
into 4 groups of 3. So kada group may tatlong school, okay? And they're gonna face each other on a double round robin
Yeah.
format. So yung double round robin format natin will result to this 2-game series for the schools that we have here. And that's Maroon Dragons and Ardent Warriors for the first series.
Yeah.
Yan. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. First game on today's episode of the Collegiate League 2016 Summer. Kami po yung naging shoutcaster, shipping with 1 for an eye. Kasama si Amplifier, your analyst, ladies and gentlemen. Powered by Smart. We'll see you guys on Game 2.
Time for a true display of skill.
Exterminate. Exterminate.
Over here!
Welcome to your doom.
Let's have some real fun.
LCL at 12 o'clock. Bombs away.
What? Impossible.
Playtime's over.
balitang ito ay para sa lahat ng mga naglalaro